both of these players, even though we're focusing on our Protoss hero center play, the Terran has been equally passive this game. Look, he's sitting, he's just upgrading, he's making more Banshees. He did an attack with the Banshees, and now he's doing nothing. Just sort of hanging out here. But I mean, both players doing pretty much correct stuff. But this is a silver level game, and just notice that how good this is strategically, how strategically sound this composition is, whether this is someone who tries to read strategy forums and watch high-level players play or not. He's doing basically the right thing. I even like his composition. He has some zealots in there to deal with the Marines and Marauders. He has a lot of sentries to get force fields. He has a lot of stalkers to get blink. Stalkers are the biggest part of his unit composition. Fantastic. Love this composition. It's just all these little things like, oh, only now are the probes getting transferred, and oh, look, now there's cannons being made. Why are 2 cannons being made instead of 1? And what are all these 4 cannons doing here? We could have shifted one of these cannons back. So now the Protoss is coming. Notice limbo line. Limbo line is a symptom of one control group syndrome. Having a little trouble poking in here. Now this would be great to run up. Here's a tactic. Run up here, force field, and then get 6 free depots. I mean, that is awesome. But you'll notice a lot of silver and gold lead level players will not abuse tactics enough because they're being a little bit too passive. And here comes the big push forward. And look at this. No, oh, Jesus, he loves Guardian Shield. He just see, make the G key. You know, he just like wanted as many Guardian Shields as possible. That's pretty awesome. You know, be a little careful with your G button, especially if you're like me and you try to hit hold position at the top of your ramp. I cannot tell you how many Guardian Shields I've just thrown down not meaning to. That's probably the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. But, you know, the Cloaked Banshees come in. At this point, it's a good game. But, you know, center play, I think, could have been in fantastic shape if he just worked out a lot of these little tiny issues that he was having at the start of the game. You know, I mean, like, this timing here with the pylon, I mean, just continued all game long. You know, Gateway probably had the best timing, but, you know, when this assimilator finished, nothing actually went into it for a little while. I mean, little things like this, yeah, that is going to bite you in the long run. So I want to take a brief moment and say, let's pretend that we're center play. Let's pretend that we're here trying to watch our replay and figure out how to improve. What I would say is, the big things I would think to myself are, man, you know, I queued up those units. I didn't macro so well. I was having some struggles with scouting. I wasn't being as aggressive with that. My chrono boost was, you know, getting a little high. I wasn't making probes enough. Let's pick some of those things to work on. And don't pick all of them, whatever you do. Pick one, because you want to be an expert at always making probes. So that way, when you try to work on making pylons, you're already an expert at making probes. You still don't mess up with your probes. So I would say first thing is, let's make probes constantly. Let's think only about making probes. So I want to constantly hit 4. I also want to probably hotkey my gateways as 5, so that way I can 4-5, 4-5 spam to keep my hand active, which will keep your brain a little bit more active. And then I'll notice, oh my god, when I click on 4, I don't have any probes making. Oh, cool. And then when I make a nexus, I want to make certain that I'm transferring those probes on time. Cool. All right, awesome. Getting some ideas. And that's it. That's all I want center play to work on. That's the only thing. You know, I actually, you know, for the people I'm you know, hanging out with in my house, who again are not big RTS players. They never really played Starcraft that much. Maybe played it right when it was released, but you know, they're mainly like RPG players and that sort of thing, who are just starting. I pretty much say, just make sure you're constantly making probes. Make sure you're constantly making units. Don't even watch the battles. So, you know, the players who have been doing that have been so successful. You probably heard me talk about Sam, who I call the Skynet, the Idra of the Copper Leagues. That, you know, he just really macros now and tries to watch his money and, you know, screws up Overlord timing, screws up upgrading, teching, his attacking is a little off, but he just has so much stuff when compared to his opponents that he's, like, moving up rapidly. So let's just briefly take a look at now a gold level replay. Just sort of pop out of this game, and you can see that I'm on my alias Persnigitate, so we're going to pop right in here. And just watch this gold level replay. This is a pretty short one, but I wanted to step up in leagues a little bit and just note some of the differences that we can see. So we have Killykill here, who will be our hero. Again, I do not know the results of this game. I simply downloaded them. And by the way, Big thanks to Killykill, or excuse me, to Center Play from the previous game, who uploaded that game, so that way I could download it. So notice already hotkeyed, already, oh no, look, he's rallying right here to the center mineral field. And watch this lonely mineral patch. Oh, coincidentally, this timing lined up nicely to where, I call this a mining pair. Notice how these guys just swap. But of course, a mining triplet is not good at this stage. Notice how this probe's going to hit here and he's going to bounce away. Still a very lonely mineral patch. You want to have all 8 mineral patches mining before you end up trying to create a mining pair. But of course, as I was going on that tangent, notice that this guy sends it out and, you know, he's a little bit behind. He wants to send that probe early, but he did send it early enough to build this pylon at the ramp. So he is happily rallying away. So we're going to speed things up a little bit. Is he going to chrono boost right when this pylon finishes? Notice that it's about to finish. Yeah, he pretty much hit it right on the money. A little bit behind, a little bit behind. You know, I actually will point this out that, you know, watch this probe finish. Now watch the timing of the probe. So notice it can't be built, and it's at 0 of 17. There's 1 of 17, 2 of 17. Okay, he waited 2 seconds, 3 seconds now. Could be improved, could be improved. And then happily making things away. We like to have very sharp starting and ending times. And notice this rally point's still here in the middle. A lot of guys getting clogged up here. We have 3 guys mining on this one patch. Try to set up your mining pairs first. So then he's going to be building a gateway. But again, notice these same sorts of problems plaguing Gold League level players as it does Silver League level players. Making this guy build the gateway way late. And look, oh my god, now I can build my assimilator and my gateway at the same time. Uh-oh. And now am I gonna make a probe? Oh yeah, it looks like probe's getting made late, and now the chrono boost is going, a late chrono boost. I mean, it's pretty easy for this stuff to snag you up. But I'm curious mainly about what's going to be happening in the later stages of the game. I think that one big difference between the Silver and the Gold League level player is that this Gold level player, Killykill, is actually actively bouncing around this main and scouting. I mean, if you just watch this little probe on this mini-map, he's been quite active. And notice, right when the gateway finishes, bam, Cybernetics Core goes down. Big difference between those last 2 games. And now we have a Cybernetics Core going down as well. Now, I will say that at a Platinum level, you'll see players get the Cybernetics Core off so on time that they'll be at 0 money, and they cannot start the second assimilator right away, because everything's happening a little bit faster. And that's one definite big thing to note. Whenever you're talking to someone else from another league about strategy, be really careful when you listen to what they're saying. Take everything they say with a grain of salt. Because I remember I heard one person say to me, yeah, you know, okay, so I make a gateway, and I'm making pylons as normal, and then I like to throw down my Cybernetics Core and my assimilator at the same time. Just build them both at the same time. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting timing. But if you're making probes constantly, and everything's very crisply paced, you can't build that assimilator at the same time as the other thing. But of course, if you're consistently sloppy, you'll feel like you can. Try to be less sloppy. And at the very least, when you say that, you know, just be a little bit wary of you know, your own statements. Very, very important to do that. I mean, especially, you'll hear that in strategies like, oh yeah, I open up blank, and you'll think, well, I demolish blank with my opening. All that sort of stuff. We have some gateways being set up in the hotkey groups. That's great. It's already upgrading Warp Gate. Notice it begins right as the Cybernetics Core finishes. We have a little bit of Chrono Boost being saved up. I would label this as less than good right now. Yep, see there's the Chrono Boost going down on the, looks like on the Sentry. Pretty typical thing to Chrono Boost. Less common against Terran, just because people like Chrono Boosting their own probes or their Warp Gate a little bit more readily. But still, I just figured I would state that, that's fine enough to do. But notice that this Chrono Boost is getting a little high. Oh yeah, wow, I guess I can be Chrono Boosting my main Nexus. Oh yeah, I guess I want to be Chrono Boosting a Cybernetics Core. Remember how after last game, I said to our Silver League hero, just focus on probes. I didn't say a thing about Chrono Boosting, even though that was an issue. Whereas this player seems to be pretty good at constantly making probes, pretty good about making the timing of the buildings. So then to this player I would say, man, you really need to work on your Chrono Boost. Sort of assuming that he'd already had this constant probe production out of the way. A lot of gateways being made in a nice little staircase pattern. It looks pretty. I think my favorite part about this is that 2 pylons are down. I would actually probably recommend even building a 3rd one here, because too often I've built a pylon here, built all my unit producing structures, and then the guy rushes, kills it, and I lose immediately, and I don't like losing immediately. So, we're getting supply blocked as killy kill. Another thing I would say to killy kill is watch your pylons. So pretty much chrono boosting and pylons is the 2 things that I would take mechanically out of this game. So, that's actually probably one thing I should say. Generally, when I go into a game, if I'm really concerned about something and I want to really focus on one thing, I'll focus on that one thing. Nothing wrong with that. Like if you're a copper, bronze level player, silver, especially those players who have a lot of leaks that they really are aware of and they want to work on, nothing wrong with just saying something like, I have problems with my gateways, I am only going to make units out of gateways. That's all I'm doing this game, just microing out of gateways. Not even going to attack. Just going to build out of gateways. That's fine. That's awesome. That's actually the exact correct thing you should be doing. However,